2022 was one of the worst years in the recent past for the U.S. personal auto insurance segment. And so far in 2023, things have gotten worse. Here to discuss an AM Best report on the segment is David Blades, Associate Director, and Christopher Graham, Senior Industry Analyst, both of AM Best's Industry Research and Analytics area. David and Chris, welcome. Great to see you. Thank you both so much for joining us today.
You're welcome, Lori.
Yeah, you're welcome. Thank you for having us.
David, the report called 2022 the perfect storm. Have conditions let up at all so far in 2023?
Well, Lori, I'd love to give a positive answer to that, but right now, in terms of what we've seen in the numbers through mid-year, we really haven't seen the improvement that we would like to talk about for the overall private passenger auto industry. If you look at the two particular segments or coverage parts for private passenger auto on the liability side and on the physical damage side, we've seen the direct loss ratio go up by about between 3 and 4 points through mid-year for both of those ratios. So when you talk about last year being the perfect storm and generating loss and combined ratios that were elevated or very elevated for the overall private passenger auto marketplace, and the fact that through mid-year we're seeing loss ratios that are actually higher, that's something to be concerned with in terms of what we'll probably see at the end of the year. Now, companies have definitely pushed for greater rate adequacy. They've done a lot more in terms of trying to implement driver safety programs and working with their intermediaries to drill down on what really needs to be done to reverse the unfavorable trends in their overall portfolios and generate better results. And again, we may see that over time, or at least in the near future. But right now, through mid-year, like I said, we haven't seen a great turnaround in terms of the results. One of the issues, as we know, workplace patterns have changed a lot. There are a lot of people working from home, so fewer cars on the road have meant the cars that are on the road, what we've seen a lot of is they're driving at higher rates of speed. We've seen a lot of national and even governmental studies talking about that, and that's actually contributed to auto severity creeping up because obviously there have been more severe crashes with the cars driving at higher rates of speed. Distracted driving is also still another issue that's impacting loss severity and probably having some impact on loss frequency as well. So we'd like to see, or we were hopeful for seeing, more of a turnaround. But through mid-year, like I said, some of the same prevailing issues are still persisting. And we'll see by year end if we start to see more momentum in the positive direction over the second half of the year. And like I said, more manifestation of the things that companies have done and have implemented, the measures they've implemented to try and counteract some of these negative trends.
Well, just expanding on that, is there anything carriers can do to turn around this quickly? And are there market conditions here to stay for a while?
Well, definitely. I think the number one thing that companies can do, and to answer your question, yes, there are definitely several measures they can take. Number one, what they can do is really drill down and look into their individual portfolios and really kind of drill down on where are the issues that they're facing. Is it just jurisdictional? Are there certain states where they're really having problems? From an underwriting perspective, is it a risk selection issue? Are there other underwriting things that they might not have been as tight on, or maybe they hadn't quite adhered to their underwriting standards the way they might normally have? All those issues, I think, the companies that drill down on those issues the best and really pinpoint where they need the turnaround, what have been the pressure points within their overall portfolios, and then effectively address those issues. We've seen, and our analysts have talked to, obviously all the major private passenger auto writers. One of the things that they've talked about is utilizing data analytics to help with their claim handling, to help with risk selection, underwriting, all of those things. And I think the companies that are using data analytics and specifically technology-driven data analytics the best, I think they will find measures that they can implement and ways that they can actually attack the issues that they might find in their portfolios. And I think doing some of those things are definitely measures that they can take to help curtail the negative trends in their books and really start to see things turn around in a more positive direction.
Chris, have some of the factors such as inflation and supply chain issues eased at all?
Economic inflation has certainly eased, but that doesn't account for social inflation. Social inflation has been a big driver in loss increases in commercial auto, and now it looks like it's creeping into personal auto. So, to David's point also about the more severe accidents, we are seeing, less. There's actually less claims in 2022 than there were even pre-pandemic. So, and that's with miles driven getting to be near the same level. So it's pretty, there's certainly less accidents, but then the other part is they are more severe. Auto fatalities are way up, which is, and when you get more severe accidents, you get more legal participation from the plaintiffs. So that's going to push for more social inflation, and that's not going to go away. Even if it eases up, you're not going to see losses come down. You still have precedents that are going to follow for for settlements and other cases that come after it. So the level of loss that we're at per claim, is here to stay. It's not going back. That's kind of what's driving all this, because what we're seeing is really the increase in severity is outrunning the decrease in claims that we saw.
A number of top writers increased their premium writings in 2022. Chris, what is the strategy there?
This is, I guess, really driven by the what we always talk about is like the inverted product cycle for insurance. Like, you don't know your costs until after the product has been sold and is out there, right? So when you start looking at what happened in 2022, to David's point, the perfect storm of events driving the poor loss experience. Well, the insurers aren't going to see all of that, especially when you start to see the legal creep. So. Some of this is they price everything out. They have a marketing strategy, and then as results start coming in, now it's like, okay, we have to adjust. So they can't really make that adjustment on the fly in 2022. They got to wait for the whole policy cycle to go through, and while at the same time filing for rate approvals and things like that going forward. So it's a complicated process. It would be interesting more to see what where these numbers are for 2023, how they reacted to what they saw in 22. But again, like we've already discussed, the first half of 2023 wasn't too good either. So, I don't think what we're seeing, the macroeconomic conditions that we're seeing here, I don't see that they're going to go away anytime soon. You get to, in a simple way here, it was 112.5 was the combined ratio in 2022. So if you had no increase in your loss costs, you still need double-digit rate increases just to get to a level of being able to break even. And there's a long regulatory process to get through that. It's not going to be easy, and you're still going to have some increase in the loss cost no matter what, short of a big change in frequency, which is on the drivers more than it is anybody else.
Well, Chris and David, it's always a pleasure. Thank you both so much for joining us.
Thanks for having us, Lori.
You're welcome, Lori.
That was David Blades, Associate Director, and Christopher Graham, Senior Industry Analyst, both of AM Best's Industry Research and Analytics area. For AM Best TV, I'm Lori Chortis.